All right, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Grab some pen and paper. We're going to talk about five things today. And the subject is a formula for selling your listings in a down market. So, for any of you who have listings that are sitting, this is for you. For all of you who are going on listing appointments, this is for you. In other words, this is for everybody. Okay. All right. So, number one, be picky. Work with motivated sellers. You don't want every listing opportunity you get. Remember, the 14-point listing presentation begins with one of three things typically happen when I meet with a potential home seller. One of those three things will happen today. Either they understand and appreciate the benefits that I have to offer and they hire me, which is great, or they may not hire me, which is not so great. And the third thing that occasionally happens is I may choose to turn down the opportunity. Now, the reason I would turn down the opportunity is if I feel a seller has a goal or an expectation that cannot be met or exceeded, I would rather turn the opportunity down today than let you down 6 months from now. All right, pay attention to the words, everybody, because they really, really matter. You're not rejecting the person, you are turning down the opportunity. There's a huge difference there. Pay really close attention to this. Now, when I say be picky, you only want to work with motivated sellers. You are looking for sellers who are ready, willing, and able to sell. And the willing part is a big part of this. Because in order to be willing to sell your home, that means you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get your home sold. That means you have to be realistic about the price. Their motivation has to be compelling when you go through the needs analysis and you ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being awesome, one not being so great, what needs to happen in the sale of your home in order for it to be a 10, and they respond with whatever their response is. I need to get my price. I need to sell it quickly. I need to do whatever it is. You're going to go three deep to find the real motivation. Here's the key. If you can't find the real motivation, then this is a listing you want to turn down. Here's the other thing. Not all listings are created equal. So I know that we get excited about super luxury listings, and I'm not so sure I'm excited about that. If you take a listing in a market where only 10% of the properties in that price range are selling, meaning 90% are coming off the market as not sold, is that really a listing that you want to take? The answer for me is no. The answer for me is depending on the market you're in, I'll just use my local Tampa Bay market. I'm looking for listings between four and $600,000. Those are the homes that are going to sell. Now, when you look at those properties, 75% of the active listings that are going on the market will sell. That number is going to get smaller as the market continues to shift and we get more and more into a buyer's market. You'll see that number drop. But you're still going to see a higher percentage of homes being sold in those price ranges than you will in the super luxury market. So, do you want every single listing opportunity you get? The answer to that is no. Be picky. Only work with the motivated. All right, number two, prepping the house to sell. So there's three reasons homes don't sell that should have. Script, write it down. There's three reasons homes don't sell that should have, like yours. And those reasons are presentation, price, and marketing. So when I'm talking about preparing the house to sell, I'm talking about presentation. Make sure that you are doing everything you can to put that home in a model like um, showing condition. So when you walk into a model home, all of you who have ever gone into a model home with a buyer, you know buyers love them. Everything's perfect. They're staged. They're beautiful. Uh, Everything's brand new. It's a model home. So when you're selling a home for somebody, you want that home to look as close to a model home as possible. That doesn't mean that I'm saying update the kitchen. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you need to make major updates to the property. I actually think that's a bad idea because you're not going to get the money back that you put into it. But you can do simple things in order to make the home show better. Make sure you're doing those things. Debbie, one of the conversations that I have with a home seller when I'm sitting at the kitchen table with them is now that we're putting your home on the market, I want you to start planning on moving. As of today, your home is sold. If you were moving in 30 days, what would you do? And their answer is going to be, I'd start getting rid of things that I don't need. I agree. Let's go ahead and start doing that now. Even if you need to get a storage shed, take about 50% of everything you own, get it out of the house, and put it in a storage shed. If that's what it takes for your home to show better, then do that. Start putting things in boxes, put those boxes in a storage shed. But we want to get your home down to the absolute bare minimum that you need in order to live here. We want to stage your home so it's beautiful. We want to take professional photographs. And we want to make sure that presentation is a 10 or as close to a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 because it's going to make a huge difference in whether or not you're going to get the offer. Don't forget, you are competing for buyers. For every one buyer out there, you have at least 3 or 4 sellers. And best presentation, lowest price is going to be the home that gets the offer. So make sure that you're prepping the house to sell. Number 3, pricing. I did a lot of research on this before our call this morning because I want to see what other people are saying, right? And as many people,
Because they haven't been able, it's typically fun.
Oh, maybe. I haven't done it in a long time, but that is possible. They had somebody.
We're running out.
All right, mute all. Hey guys, just be aware that if you're live, we're hearing you. All right, so I didn't hear one person talk about strategic pricing. I didn't hear one person talk about supply and demand. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you guys are missing such an amazing opportunity here. Tell your audience about supply and demand. Tell your audience how to do a supply and demand analysis. It's so critically important to getting that price right. You want to know in that price range, how many active listings are there? How many homes are selling every 30 days? If you're in a market where there's 18 homes priced between 450 and 500, for example, and you've got 3 selling every 30 days, you've got a 6-month supply of inventory. But more importantly, in order for you to sell your home, you got to be one of the 3 out of the 18 that are going to sell. And the only way that you're going to be one of the 3 out of the 18 that are going to sell are going to be top 25% in presentation, bottom 25% in price. It's strategic pricing. You need to understand that in a shifting market, you look at the real estate market from 2002 until 2006, the market's doing this. Okay, it's doing this. And then all of a sudden it plateaued and it starts slowing down. And then 2008, the market started dropping. It took 4 years to get to the bottom. And then in 2012, the market started coming back again. And it was approximately 2016 before we got back to where we were in 2008. So it took 8 years to get back to the same price that seller was at in 2008. What if this time is like that time? Here's the other thing about that. When you get into a market where there's more than 4 months of inventory, the prices are going to start doing this. It's like a ball that's rolling downhill. Now, if a ball's rolling downhill, you can chase it down the hill or you can get out in front of it. You want to get out in front of the market. And the way that you get out in front of the market is if the comparable, say the home is going to sell somewhere between 540 and 550, price it at 530. Price it in front of the market. Get out in front of the market in order to beat the competition. Because again, you got 3 homes that are selling every 30 days. You've got 18 that are for sale. You've got to be one of the 3 that are going to sell. And the only way you're going to do that is by getting out in front of the market. Here's another script that you can use. You can either create the market or you can chase the market. You want to create the market. You got to get out in front of that market because if you're chasing the market, guess what you're doing? You're always behind where the price should be right now. You're never catching up with it. And 6 months from now, your home is coming off the market. It's worth $20,000 less than it is today when you could have sold it 6 months ago, but you didn't because you didn't get out in front of the market and you're chasing the market down. I could stay on this one for the entire 30 minutes, but I'm not going to because I want to get everything else in here. Okay, number 4, getting feedback. Be aggressive in getting deals put together. So I would pick one day every week. We called it the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we would call all of our sellers, Karen, on that day, and we would communicate with them, and we would get feedback from showings, and we would share that feedback with our sellers. And when you're getting feedback from other real estate agents, don't just get feedback like all other real estate agents are. So, for example, feedback is, well, my buyer liked the house, but they just really didn't like the color of the paint that the seller chose. And real estate agents take that feedback and then they go back to the seller and they're like, okay, the buyer didn't like the paint. Are you kidding me? If you're the real estate agent who's communicating with that other seller, what else did they like? Isolate. Other than the paint, what's stopping them from making an offer today? If they were to make an offer today, hypothetically, don't worry, Debbie, your buyers can't hypothetically buy this house. Hypothetically, what would they pay for it? Just curious. What would it take for your buyer to make an offer on this property today? Put deals together. Don't just take feedback and then share that feedback with your seller. Put deals together. If you've got an agent who showed your property and that buyer liked the home, but they're not making an offer, go to your seller and ask your seller to make an offer to the buyer. If their property is on the market for $540,000 and that buyer would probably make an offer if the price was a little bit lower, go to the seller and ask them, where does your heart stop? If that buyer were to make an offer today, what does an offer look like that you would accept? If the buyer gave you an offer, Michael, of $520,000, what would you do? And if the seller says, well, I'd sell my house, I say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the buyer's agent and we're going to make an offer to them for $520,000. We're going to tell them this is exclusively for them. It's $540,000 to everybody else, but we're making an offer to your buyer at $520,000. You'll put deals together, but you got to be actively engaged in this and you have to be super aggressive as well. All right, number 5, constant communication and education with your sellers. I got ahead of myself a moment ago, by the way. This is the good and the bad and the ugly. So pick one day every week where you're calling your sellers, you're communicating and you're educating. You're providing them with updated data. You're providing them with how many homes they're competing against. You're letting them know what properties they were competing against when under contract in the last week. You're letting them know how many showings you've had, how many showings you should have had. You're letting them know the feedback that you're hearing. You're asking them, you have to be super aggressive about this. You're constantly asking them for price improvements in order to get that property out in front of the market, in order to get it sold. Judy, we've been on the market for 30 days. We've had 4 showings, which means we're averaging 1 showing per week. We should be getting 2 to 3 showings per week. So the market's talking to us. Now, just out of curiosity, what do you think the market's saying? Let them answer that question, because if they answer that question, the only answer to that question that makes sense, because they could always say, well, it's saying you're not spending enough money on marketing. By the way, your response to that is more marketing at the wrong price is just telling more people that your home is overpriced. Now, back to the question. If they answer that question correctly, Judy, then they have to respond with price. They're saying the price is too high. I agree. What should we do? Well, we should probably lower our price. I agree with that as well. What does the dollar amount look like that you would accept? We're at 540. If you got an offer today, what would you accept? At what point are you not selling your home? Well, I guess I would take 520. What should we do? Well, we should probably lower the price to 520. You didn't make one suggestion. All you did was ask questions. and they are 100% in because it was their idea. If you come to them and sell and tell and just start talking, this is what you need to do. You need to lower your price. You need to lower your price. You need to lower your price. You're speaking with commission breath. They know you're giving them advice based on you getting a commission check, and they're going to push back, Mary Ellen. But if you come to them and you ask questions, you're going to lead them into making a new decision based on new information. All right, so recapping the 5 things you need to do in order to sell your listings in a down market. Number 1, be picky. Only work with motivated sellers. Number 2, prep the house to sell. Make sure that you're getting it in model-like show condition. Make sure you're taking professional photographs. Make sure that you're putting out the very best possible presentation that you can. Number 3, strategic pricing, not pricing. Have strategic pricing conversations. Price in front of the market. You want to beat the market. You get in order to sell your home, you got to beat the competition. In order to beat the competition, you got to make sure you're competing against the right competition. All right, number 4, get feedback and be aggressive in getting deals put together. And number 5, constant communication and education with your sellers. All right, guys, raise your hand. Talk to me. Not everybody at once. All right, Joanne, let's go.
I was thinking about a role play in this with a listing that we've had a ton of traffic through. So, John, we've had 15 groups of people through your home between the showings last week and our open house. The average listing is getting about 3 parties through their door per week. We had 15. No offers. What do you think the market's saying to us?
So according to the National Association of Realtors, we should be averaging between 2 and 3 showings a week. And after 10 showings with buyers, we should get an offer. And if we're not getting the number of showings we should get, or we're not getting offers, the market's talking to us. It's telling us the price is too high. 15 people looked at your home and chose not to make an offer. 15 people looked at your home and chose to make an offer on another home.
My question to that is when we're looking at what's new to the market, when we're looking at what's gone pending. So if we're in an area where there's, I guess, you're looking at absorption rate. So if there's only one home in the price range of 375 to 500 and only one's gone pending, 15 people came through, they haven't all chosen a home, but one person chose a home. One home went pending in the last 7 days or the last 10 days.
All right. So if you're looking at the market, first of all, that's too big of a price range. Buyers don't look 375 to 500. They look 375 to 425 maybe, or 325 to 375. If 375 is what they expect to pay, that's probably they're looking at the top of the market. So they're probably looking 325 to 375. But here's the other thing, Joanne, if you're only getting one active listing and one property sold, then you don't have enough data. You need to do a larger search. If you're looking in the neighborhood, for example, go out a mile around the property. If you're looking a mile out around the property, go to 2 to 3 miles outside the property. You need more data. That's not enough data. Now, if you're truly in a market where there's 3 or 4 homes for sale and 3 or 4 are selling every 30 days, then ignore everything I just said because it doesn't apply to you. It doesn't apply to that property. That's a hot seller's market. So I don't think I really did a great job of answering your question, Joanne, but that's my answer.
No, that was helpful.
Okay, good. Talk to me, Joe.
Yeah, well, it's simple. I got a different agent selling my house, and because they couldn't get the ex-wife to bring the price down, it was priced at 548 for 3 weeks, and there were 3 showings. So I had to call my agent and educate her because we both agreed the right price was 515 to 525.
That's right.
However, when you're looking at my house at 548, it's not there, and houses are selling, just not my house. So I had the conversation. We had us drop that price to 500,000 because when you don't get any showings, you're 10 to 12% off.
That's right.
So instead of, hey, let's price it to the 515 where it should sell, we have to go all the way down to 500,000 because it's been sitting here for 3 weeks.
Chase the market down. By the time you got ready to price it right, the ball had traveled down the hill. It was no longer at 515. Now it's at 500.
Yeah, and I used your scripts to teach my agent how to communicate with my ex-wife of, we're fishing with our bait out of water.
That's
And
right.
if we want to go ahead and get it there, and you get 515 was the right price when we first went on the market, but it's no longer the right price 3 weeks into it.
That's right. Yeah, this is not something that you're going to learn in real estate school. This is not something that most real estate offices are teaching. Uh, and I'm not going to take the credit for it. The only reason you're hearing about this is I was fortunate enough to be in business with someone who understood this and who taught all of this to me. And all I'm doing is just passing everything I learned on to you. Brian, let's go.
I used to have a lot of anxiety and fear over giving people a lot of bad news. We haven't had to do that in over a decade in our market.
It's interesting. You're right. Because when you look at the real estate market, for those of you who got in the market after 2012, you don't even know what a buyer's market is. Yeah, you're like, what do you mean buyer's market? I mean,
Right.
we're on a 10-year stretch of being in a good market. Welcome to a buyer's market, everybody. All right, but Brian, keep going.
No, all good. And so this call has really helped me overcome that and figure out the right words to use at the right moments. Yesterday, I just did a comp video for a client, a big executive. I haven't even met him. I'm dealing with his executive assistant right now. And he was listed at 255 previously. I'm recommended 235 a year and a half later.
That's
And
right.
it didn't sell last time. And now it's just like the facts are the facts. And it may be 2-2, in a year and a half or 2 years, right? And so we don't know how long the cycle is going to go, but they don't move quick. And just using the right words. Look, if you want to sell, if you want a different result, you got to do something different. Your presentation can improve, your pricing can improve, and marketing can improve, right? And this call and just these kind of little talks this morning have really made a big difference. So
Cool. Very good. David, I think you had your hand up.
I did. There's not really, so I've got a condo, UT condo, University of Texas condo. We went on the market 2 weeks ago today. We haven't had one showing. We went on with two other competitors. I went in there. I got her to change paint, do everything, change a light fixture. So it looked great. We were the lowest price listing. We were then the highest price listing 2 weeks later because they both lowered. And so I just lowered below. I got her to do a $20,000 price drop. But I've never been through this market. It's been brutal in Austin. We've just got so many listings.
So here's my suggestion when you're not getting showings, because you're going to have sellers say, well, how can I lower my price when we don't even have any feedback? So here's how you handle that. You've had hundreds of people look at your home. They just haven't looked at it in person. They're going online, they're looking at the pictures, they are doing virtual tours through their home, and they are choosing to not come see your home. That's feedback.
They're choosing not to come see any because I talked to the other agents and they're not getting showings either.
Okay, so you're
Crazy.
right. For all of those listings, guess what the answer is?
It's price or just market. I mean, I
Oh,
don't.
it's
David,
Yeah,
David,
I'm open to feedback.
what's your price?
price. It's always
Price now
David,
is
what's your price? I'm sorry.
yeah, it's 800 square feet off Tom Green. We were at 345, which is the latest comp. We went down to 325.
hey, John, can I chime in real quick? Because that's my local market. I actually have a buyer under contract in that same area right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just ridiculous because we actually wrote 2 cash offers and one agent did not even respond to our offer. Like not a peep back. And we ended up going with the other agent. So sometimes all you have to do is respond.
again, I feel like I need to get a showing before I get an offer. That's just kind of how I feel. And I'm just, like I said, it's been a struggle.
Okay, so I feel your pain, and not to be a jerk here, but the answer is price. So I'm
Again,
just
I just got it yesterday. I got a $20,000 price drop yesterday. So we'll see what happens.
you're still searching for the right spot.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if this changes things. But yeah, I had to, it's been
You
brutal.
got to create a buyer where there are no buyers. And I agree, it's brutal. I understand that. Bob, let's go. Jacqueline, you're up next.
I think my audio is playing tricks on me. I thought I heard Brian say something about anxiety. I just couldn't believe I was hearing that. So a couple ahas for me. Ball down the hill analogy. Love that. Chasing it and getting in front of it, creating a market where there is none. As far as price, I like the improve the price and not drop or reduce. And then there was another thing. Oh, we used to talk about being the top 25% in presentation, the bottom 25% in price. Today you said top presentation, lowest price. That really rang out.
Good stuff, Bob. Thank you. You're a great note taker too, by the way. Okay, Jacqueline, let's go. Michael Chilango, you are on deck, and that's going to be a wrap for today, guys.
Okay. So David, I'm kind of speaking to
Oh,
you as well. Well, I have a condo. I have the 21 days, no showing, condo complex, and but it was like half the price. But I only had 2 showings in 60 days. One of them made the offer. That's over at the Frank, David. So I'm just telling you what's going on there. But with the condo situation in Austin, and John, this is my question to you. These people have a tenant in until next year. We've got a tight market. They're not selling that. The condo that I sold is the only one that sold an entire year. How do you market something that has, first we'll bring the price down, but with a tenant in there until next year? What do you do then?
So I'm going to go back to number one on my list that I shared with you today, which is be.
Oh,
I'm not taking tenant occupied
okay.
properties. It's a hard no.
Say it again. Oh, you're not taking tenant what?
I'm not listing tenant occupied properties.
Okay.
Not
And can you elaborate a little bit more on that, on why?
not in this market. Well, because how the property shows is up to the tenant. And if you have a tenant that's not
Yeah.
motivated to get that home sold, and how many tenants are motivated to get a house sold, they're not exactly going out of their way to make sure the property looks great for showings. And they can also screw everything up by making it difficult to show the property.
Okay, so let's say that, I mean, it does look great. They keep it nice. I just popped in on them, but no showing. So then it's the other one, price, right? But there's not many buyers out there that are going to want to buy a property that's tenant occupied that doesn't cash flow, correct?
Well, you're looking for a needle in a haystack in a very bad market. I'm still turning the listing down.
Okay, thank you. This was really helpful.
Okay, Michael Chilango, let's go.
All right, so yeah, I had a 30-minute conversation over $5,000 yesterday for the very reason that we're discussing. If the potential buyer that's in the price point can't see it, then it won't sell.
Right.
And so that was the thing, is ultimately your property is invisible. If it's priced a nickel over where it should be, it's not visible to the right buyers based on the way the algorithms are and price points that people are shopping. So really super important. 30 minutes. If you lose the battle over that conversation, you lose the war of selling that home. So you need to win those battles. And sometimes, and I tell this directly to the client, sometimes I'm going to need to fight with you in order to fight for you. Okay. And that's what it comes down to. I need to fight with you so I can fight for you.
Write it down. Write it down.
And just a reminder, we have our coaching call at 11 Eastern time. We're going to be talking about lead generation. We're going to be talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about strategy, and I'm going to open it up to ask me anything. Tell me where you're getting stuck, and we'll leave some room for scripts and opportunities to handle objections that you're not getting past. So we're going to be there at 11. The link is in the chat box.
Love that. All right. Just an announcement really quick here. I will not be here tomorrow. Long weekend for me. So
Nice, congrats.
yeah, right. So there is no Survive Thrive to Thrive call tomorrow. Please spread that because I know we've lost a few agents here since we're 6 minutes over. Just spread it to everybody that you know that there is no Survive Thrive call tomorrow. I will be back on Monday. Guys, make it a great weekend. Have fun, take some time off. Remember, never truly off, never truly on. And I'm going to give one more plug super quick here. First of all, Michael Trelongo, Angie's your girl. Call her. She's amazing.
Yeah, I saw that. We were already communicating.
She's fabulous. And what's interesting is my plug is for the two of you. A couple really good trainers and coaches that are a part of this call every morning are Michael and Angie. Make sure that you're jumping on everything that they offer. It's gold. Make it a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, John.
John.
Everybody have a great day.
Good day.